Okay, I'll share.
This is your new favorite internet radio, Power 108.9.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already. Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive.
Stay up on what's happening here at Power. We've got new shows, new guests, and new events that help us connect with the community. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Power 108.9. You can also go to power1089.com to get all of the updated news and happenings here at Power. Thanks for listening. This is your new.
You blaming a brother?
I'm blaming a brother. Okay. Cheers, cheers. We are here. You're listening to the Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. It's Thursday, y'all. And you know I can't cheers by myself. I've got my co-host here. My guest co-host, RJ, is in the building.
Hello, Atlanta.
While she get herself situated here. So listen, how was your weekend, everybody? I had a very fun and busy weekend. I got to get all jazzed up this weekend for the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Metro Atlanta chapter. We had our Unsung Heroines Gala this weekend. If you missed it, you missed us honoring some phenomenal, amazing women, including a friend of mine, Rashawn Ali. And we just had a wonderful time. Me and my girls and some of my guy friends and our husbands and stuff, we took up a lot of tables this weekend. We're going to talk about a few things today. I got to give a shout out to my baby girl, Sin Sin. She has her Little Miss AKA pageant this weekend. And I'm so excited. RJ, you ready?
I'm ready.
So you saw Miss Sin Sin's dress.
I
well,
did.
Little flash of it.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
It was very model-esque. It was very beautiful. It was something that you would want to own yourself.
That's right. That's right. So shout out to Natasha Furman for making her dress and also making my dress for the Unsung Heroines this past weekend. RJ.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you something funny about our people, our crew. So, you know, we were going to Unsung.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to get there early.
Okay.
So the husband and James, they rode together.
All the husbands rode together.
The husbands rode together. Okay. So I get back in town, I was in D.C. at the Capitol. I get back in town, pick me up from the airport. He hands me a brush, and he's like, "Whose brush is this?"
Oh, he has a bald head, doesn't he? Okay.
So I give the wide-eyed like, I don't know. So he was very calm with it, but if you know my husband, it's the calm before the storm. I'm like, well, it's James' brush, I'm sure. He was like, that's right. I'm like, first of all, I ain't about to have nobody up in the car without you knowing.
I know, that's right.
But that was too funny with him saying that. I'm like, I don't have an answer for you because I don't know. It's not my brush, and I ain't had nobody in the car with that kind of brush. But hey.
But James have a bald head, though.
He has it for his beard.
Oh, I see.
Look, so I text.
That's funny.
Yeah, on the group text, I was like, look, bro, don't be leaving guy stuff in the car. Okay, having my husband checking me on something I ain't doing. Hey, boo, he listening to it right now. Okay, so we're going to talk about a few things today. Is marriage overrated? Is it overrated, y'all? And when you're in a relationships, do you feel constrained, or do you stay out of relationships because of the constraints that a relationship can put on you, such as where you going, where you been, can I do this, can I do that, or do you feel like you even need to be asking permission as an adult?
I understand.
I'm gonna want to know what your opinion is.
Okay.
All right. When we get to that, and how we handle breakups, we're gonna talk about a lot of things when we come back. All right. So I can't wait to hear your opinions. If you want to call in, click the call button at the Unbroken Experience. Okay, click the call button. You can call in. Let us know your relationships questions. Today's show is brought to you by Vom Foss in Duluth. Okay? Yes. And they provided our wine for us tonight, a Malbec. Yesterday was International Malbec Day.
Wonderful.
All right, so we'll be right back. You are listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. We'll be right back.
This is your new favorite internet radio. Power 108.9.
You want to answer that, don't you? I bet it's just killing you seeing the soft glow just inches away. Someone wants to tell you something or ask you something. Oh, come on, answer it already. Just so we're clear, that wasn't my fault. Next time, ignore your inner voice. Don't text and drive.
Stay up on what's happening here at Power. We've got new shows, new guests, and new events that help us connect with the community. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Power 108.9. You can also go to power1089.com to get all of the updated news and happenings here at Power. Thanks for listening.
Hey, Pam. Hey, cuz.
It don't take much.
That makes
A little
it was
affection.
clashing with my brain.
Some of your time. That's all that I'm asking for.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. Hey, Troy. Shout out to Troy. We're about to celebrate our 20-year class reunion back in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Ooh, we got a 30-year class reunion coming up in here. I don't know if he want me to tell who it is. So today's show is brought to you by Vom Foss in Duluth. So I want you to make sure I'm going to be there next Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday for the ribbon cutting. It's at 4:00 p.m. Then on Saturday at 5 o'clock from 5 to 7, they have a wine, chocolate, and cheese. I'm sorry, that's on Friday as well. Then Saturday from 10 to 8, a meet and greet. Viola, who is the creator of all the spices that are in the store. And then Sunday brunch from 12:30 to 5. I can't wait to go. It's a very eventful
It sounds like
weekend.
it. It sounds like it's going to be tasty.
Ooh, real tasty. And on a regular basis, on a regular basis. They do tasting. So I know they're really going to overdo it now. What you got, Mike?
Syndy, what is the wine expert dude at the restaurant? What is he called?
Oh, a sommelier. A sommelier. Some people like to call me that, but I cannot. I don't put that kind of pressure on me. You know, I like my red wine. I don't know too much about white wine, but I do love me a wine tasting. Shout out to my mommy. Hey, Mom. So, all right, RJ, you ready to get into these discussions?
What you got?
Okay, so what I want to know, I have some friends that recently married, recently engaged, and things like that. And I know you just recently came from a wedding from a longtime friend.
Yes.
Is marriage overrated? I've got my opinions, but I want to hear from you first.
Okay, because the people want to know.
The people's got to know.
Okay. Oh, no, I don't think marriage is overrated. I think that the union should be respected. The union is here and it should stay here. Now, you do have, if I'm not mistaken, in some countries where they don't get married till life to death do you part.
And how does that happen?
It's sort of like a contract. I actually mentioned this about 25 years ago to some folk that I could see that happening in the future, and it looks like it's happening. And I'll get more information on that to share with the audience. But no, I think marriage is not overrated.
Okay.
I think dating is overrated.
Okay.
And how we pursue our dates.
Okay, what do you mean? Explain.
Oh, you know, we're online dating now. And we talked about one of those sites. I mean, there's so many different dating sites you can't even keep up.
I cannot keep up.
Yeah, and not just that, you know, who we date, you know, has opened up more in terms of opposite sex, even if it's just for play. We can go on about dating being overrated.
But what do you mean? I still don't quite understand what you mean dating is overrated in terms of. What do you mean? I can't quite. Is it the?
Well, we can talk marriage with that as well, because you have so many people now doing more long-term dating than getting married.
Okay.
And they are taking that as if they are married.
Okay. So how do you feel about that?
I think it's to each his own.
Sure.
I think it's to each his own, because you have so many people who may not, they probably shouldn't even be in that relationship. It's probably good that they don't marry that person. But some people want to take their time. They want to take more time before they actually marry someone. I think rushing into marriage is overrated.
Okay. So I agree with that. Rushing into marriage is overrated, but also waiting too long to get married, I think, is overrated as well. I was with an associate of mine, I think last month, at an event, and she was saying that someone that she was dating didn't want to take it they've been together, not dating, because for me, dating means you're not exclusive, but they were in a committed relationship, but he didn't want to take it that next step to marriage because he felt like he was not financially in a place to marry. But I personally don't get that when you're living as if you're, and that's one thing if you're living in kind of two separate lives and you don't kind of intertwine those things. But when you're living together, you have children together, you're splitting bills together. Like, what is the problem? That now, unless if you're built for that, then fine. I personally am not built for that.
Right. And that's where it comes in, that you're not built for that. There's no one blueprint for every person and every partnered relationship. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Some people go into marriages and they're divorced in years. Some people married 2, 3, 4, 5 times by the time they're 60. So it really just depends on the individual. I do agree, long-term dating without a purpose is overrated.
So as a relationship coach, when it comes to dating, talking to people who are dating and want coaching, I always ask, are you dating with a purpose or are you just trying to date? Because I'm not interested if you just want to go out there and get busy with anybody and everyone, or throw them away at the drop of a dime or things like that. But you mentioned multiple marriages. So anyone who knows me knows this is my second marriage. My first one, we married and divorced quickly. But this marriage, we're going on 9 years this year.
Yes.
And but what about those who have been through multiple divorces and multiple marriages? Do you think that they have what it takes to sustain it, or they just like the idea of it?
I always say it depends on the individual, but let me I think they definitely have what it takes to sustain. What I've come to realize in coaching and counseling myself, I have come to realize so many people, and I'm going to speak a lot for the women, instead of dating 10, 15, 20 different guys, they would rather be in a marriage with someone, even if it's just 3 men in their lifetime. Well, they've been married 3 times or 4 times, whereas if they weren't married, they'd be dating. Mm-hmm. And like you say, some women just aren't equipped or built for that either.
Right.
So
when you were talking about dating being overrated, when I talk to whether it's friends, associates, or clients, dating was so fun for me. It was so fun, but I see so many people where they're just miserable mm-hmm. or unhappy or just struggling, and it takes me back to when you and I first met, mm-hmm. and I met the love of my life.
Yes,
I thought I'd never love again.
Okay.
And do you remember what you told me? I'm gonna tell you.
Go ahead. I remember. You go ahead and tell it.
She told me, when he was making my heart hurt, and I don't really shed tears over guys, but my heart hurt. But so she said, "Oh, don't worry about that. You'll date about 2, 3, 4 other guys before you find your king." Mm-hmm. And I was like, never.
Never, impossible.
I was like, are you kidding me? I cannot imagine dating that many people.
Tell me different, okay?
But I was 18,
19,
17, 18, 17, 18, because I came to Spelman at
yes.
17 years old. So 17, 18.
Yes.
Oh, we've been knowing each other a long time, y'all. I'm 37. I don't mind telling my age. I am 37. We have been knowing each other
for quite time.
It's 20 years this year. Mm-hmm. It'll be 20 years in August.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I want to tell the people that, the men and women that are dating what you told me, and also what I said, just enjoy the date, just enjoy what you can gather and what you mm-hmm. can gain, from that particular experience, at least the first couple times. What you got?
Well, she can always tell when that eyebrow go up.
One eyebrow go up.
Okay. Okay. One of the differences with you and your experience of dating, like you say, dating for me was fun.
Right.
Well, think about how difficult it would have been or could have been had you not met someone such as myself to talk with you, coach you, counsel you, things like that, because so many young, especially young folk, we're not even going to talk about our grown folk that need the coaching, mm-hmm. but so many of our young folk, they don't know, and they don't have the wisdom, the counsel, or any guidance to help them along the way when they're dating. So it's not going to be fun. Right. They're going to go through those trials and errors. Whereas with you went through your trials and errors, but you always maintain the control.
Yes.
You always controlled how you date, when you dated, and who you dated.
Yes.
And you knew how to keep your emotions in check and keep reality in check.
That's right.
And but so many who don't, they're going to fall and continue to fall by the wayside, dating one person after another, and then they look up years later and they're really, really grown, and they haven't really solidified a real, true partnership.
I want to talk about when we come back. Now, I did have a lot of fun when I was dating, but one of the issues that I had when dating that I know a lot of other people have is putting obligations on that person without their permission. Basically, I know a lot of people who date and you go out on 7 dates and now you're exclusive, but nobody's had that conversation. And I know that was put on me a lot.
Got to have the conversation.
Yes, that was put on me a lot. But I know guys who do it as well. But I also know ladies and they become the victim because they're hurt because they didn't have that conversation that we're exclusive and what do you think and what do I think? But they put themselves in a relationship and when they find out they're doing something else, now they're all of a sudden hurting the victim. So I want to talk about that some more when we come back. I want to hear your comments on that as well. Drop me a comment, give us a call, hit the call link on my Instagram page at The Unbroken Experience and let me know what you think. You are listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9 and we'll be right back. So you see when I'm talking about this, I go.
Okay. I have to cover this up. Say something. What you say? Nana.
I know.
I know. It's crazy. Okay. Your time coming if it ain't already here.
Remember to tell me 7:30. Remember that. Hey, Barb. Hey. Hey, brother. Hey, brother. Hey, Janine. Mommy again. A small yes. Yes, small yes. Don't even jump. It depends on the mood, but I like height. I like height. Yeah. What you about to play? You over there smiling. I'm nervous. You talking to me? We're not ready for 7:30 yet. Oh, okay. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Dress it up and make it real for me.
Yes, that put me in the mood.
Whatever that means.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. We listen to some trap music or whatever it is that you want to call it. That'll put a girl in the mood. I might start talking about some stuff that we don't talk about on this show, okay? So listen, today's show is brought to you by Vom Foss in Duluth. They've got some events coming up next weekend. I'll repeat them a little bit later on, but spend some time with me and them. Some wonderful wines, spices, oils, vinegars, all of that.
All of that.
Okay. And let me tell you, when you go in that store, you're not going to want to come out. I'm telling you. It took forever to get my husband out of there.
What kind are we drinking again?
Okay, so we are drinking, and this is one of their popular, and they don't make it, but this is one of the ones that they carry. I cannot pronounce it. I believe it's Kaiken Estate, a 2017 Malbec from Argentina.
Okay, it sounds delicious.
Yes,
compliments. Tasted it.
Thank you, Von
Wonderful.
Foss.
Thank you so much, Von.
Yes. Okay, so let's get back on what we ended on. I do want to talk to our ladies, those ladies who listen, even the guys, because I know a lot of guys did it to me. So when you're dating, you want to know the person that you're kind of seeing a few times, not out on a date, but you've been seeing each other for a few times. You want to know, what is their definition of dating? Because if you date me, dating does not mean exclusive. I don't have any obligations to you. You don't have any obligations to me. There's some people who feel like if you say we're dating, we're exclusive. So That's number one. You need to know who you're going out with. And if you are interested in that person on that particular level as far as being exclusive, I know for me, I told anybody in the beginning that was dating me. Now listen, listen, Linda. When you want me to be exclusive with you, you need to have a conversation with me, because I would hate for your feelings to get hurt and you see me out with someone else.
Absolutely. It should never be understood. Right.
Okay.
It should never be understood. It should never be assumed. There should always be a conversation. And it shouldn't be based on sex. It shouldn't be based on gifts. It shouldn't be based on how long you've been with that person.
Thank you.
And it really shouldn't be based on even if you had a child from that person.
Oh, yeah.
Have a conversation. Always have the conversation and make sure you know what you're asking.
I had a situation once where I spent a lot of time with a gentleman, no intimacy, no kissing, no nothing like that. But because he was helping me with my business, he assumed that we were going to be in a relationship. So I was at his office, we were doing this, and I was telling him what the cost was going to be. He was going to help me build my business. And successful businessman, all of that. So I'm sitting, taking notes. I'm younger. I'm probably, I don't know, mid to late 20s. I'm taking notes. I'm being a student. Okay. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And then, he's like, okay, now if I do this, I need you to be all in. I'm like, yes, I'm all in. I'm committed. And he was like, okay, well, I don't like that when I call you, you don't answer. And I was like, skirt. Okay, I'm confused. And he was like, someone that I'm with, they answer my phone calls. I was like, okay, hold on now. Hold on. So when you say all in, you mean all in as far as a relationship? And he said, yeah, I'm not going to invest, like that with someone that I'm not in a relationship with. And I said, that's very disappointing. I said, because if I was a male sitting in front of you right now and you liked my idea, you would go ahead and invest. Or if you didn't like my idea, you would say that ain't, for me. I was like, you don't even know my middle name. You don't even know what my birthday is. And I took my stuff. I went on. It was some time when he gathered himself, and he, sent an apology. But that's the kind of stuff, that's on a more major level. But that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Have a conversation. Do I want to be with you? Are we compatible, to be?
Well, also in addition to that, pay attention to the signs. You're a beautiful woman. And even with me, even with real estate, I just encountered that just 2 days ago. I'm in a multi-million-dollar community looking for my client to get their home built. And the agent is flirting right off the bat. And he's trying to be sort of subtle on a down low with it. But I always pay attention to the signs. Okay. So that my working relationship with men is comfortable, not just for me, but I want to make sure they're comfortable too. When I say make sure they're comfortable, I mean, because I can come on, a little strong, as well. But again, I just pay attention to the signs. And even with this particular agent, when I sort of saw what he was doing, even it could be the smallest things by just grabbing your hand. They're looking for, it could be the smallest signs, little comments, because if it's in them, it's going to come out. Right. And it probably showed or came out with this gentleman, and you probably just wasn't even paying attention to the signs.
Well, I always see the signs, but at that particular age in my life, absolutely, I just felt like, but if I show them and I show them that there's no advancement, I'm not flirting back, that they'll switch the gears.
And he was so much older. You expected him to behave a lot more professionally and maturely.
But guess what? They never do. But what I did learn in business later, whereas, I come from, Virginia, where, they call Virginia's for lovers and things like that, where if, not necessarily in all business, but when you're in a kind of certain environment, you give hugs. Yes. I stopped all of that. Yes. I stopped all of that. Like, we ain't even about that, and it was a conscious effort for me in the beginning, because that's what we do, where I'm from. But they be like, oh, she hugged me. Oh yeah. it's about to be on, you know.
But you know what? Right before the break, I know we were talking about women,
yes,
putting them, our sisters,
yes.
Okay, sisters, some of us putting ourselves in positions, with men where it's the opposite of what happened to you, where they're actually jumping the broom too quick. And I'm not necessarily saying the wedding
or dating, right? Or exclusive.
Just jumping too soon into claiming, the man. And my whole thing is always be a woman to be earned. If he does not earn you, he will not know how to treat you or respect you. You have to give a man the time to earn you. And every man is not going to earn you in 2 weeks or 3 months. It may take 2 or 3 years. But if you know that this man is something or someone that matches well with you and can make you a more purposeful woman, then you hang in there with that guy.
Right. I completely agree. I think we are, y'all know how I feel, that we are the foundation and we are to be earned. I completely agree with that. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go overboard and just run people away because you just making the earning slots too high, just too much for a man. Okay. But I do believe we got to be earned, and you do need to communicate in terms of what it is that express to them, like, okay, now if this is what you want, then that's what you got to communicate. Promote communication, y'all. Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear what RJ has for our 7:30 crazy. I can't believe we at the 7:30 hour already. I can't believe
it. Goes pretty fast.
Oh my goodness. So we're going to see if you haven't learned what 7:30 crazy is yet. 7:30 cray cray.
7:30 cray.
Okay. I need you to Google that. And because I need to know if you think what she says, what article she reads is 7:30 crazy or not. Okay, you are listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9, and we'll be right back. Oh gosh. Oh, I thought you were talking about something with dating. I was like, you got somebody's key. Somebody got the key to your house. You need a key. That is too funny. Did you see it? Now you get it.
When you gonna watch the playoffs? Playoffs. Yes. Been busy, huh? I understand. I used to be like that. I'm telling you. Mm-hmm.
I miss
fanboy.
This is a very strong one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, if you say so, then it definitely is.
I'm ready. Welcome back. You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. No. We're about to listen to what RJ gonna say about this 7:30 cray.
7:30.
Okay, we're listening to Beyonce. So crazy right now. All right, let me hear it, RJ.
Okay, so our 7:30 crazy goes to HuffPost.
Okay.
So in Huffington Post, We have a substitute teacher in Massachusetts who, while he was subbing, apparently he went into his pocket and guess what fell out?
What had happened?
What fell out?
What fell out? What?
It wasn't M&M. I can tell you that. Okay. Okay. So what fell out was bullets, y'all. Bullets fell out in the classroom.
Like the vibrator bullet?
No, not that bullet. Not that bullet. I think he might have got fired for that one too, though.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So bullets fell out in the classroom, and another teacher actually notified the principal.
Okay.
Okay. His license to carry was already suspended. All right. And later they found 6 handguns, 12 shotguns, and rifles.
Oh, hell no.
That's 730 cray.
Ooh.
Very scary, especially what we're experiencing in today's time in our schools.
Oh, my goodness. So I think I heard this story, and it said that he said that he was, the reason why his bullets were in the pocket was because he was shooting the day before. And I'm like, well, you wearing the same clothes from yesterday to the school with the children. Okay?
I know. And, teachers, they go in their teachers go in their pockets. It's not like, it's a female teacher with a purse and she sat it to the side.
Right.
He's in his pockets. And I think it's unfortunate for the school, for the teacher he was subbing for, and for the students.
Okay. So question. Okay, so I don't know if it's all school systems or some school systems, it is not illegal to carry, bullets are called ammunition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not illegal to carry ammunition, but they're subject to whatever the school, rules are.
Right, and I don't know if he actually got in.
He got fired.
Right. And
I don't know how you get fired from as a substitute, because that's kind of an option, but I guess
he might actually fight that unless there's somewhere unless it's stated somewhere that he signed that he cannot bring,
anything like that, anything related to. Okay, so let's say that there wasn't anything. I can't imagine. It probably all is included, but let's just say there was nothing in there that said anything associated with guns or anything like that. Do you think that because the bullet themselves can't do anything, and he didn't have any weapons in him, I think his license was suspended after the incident. License to carry was suspended after the incident. Do you think he should have been fired?
And that's a good question. I don't think he should have just easily fired.
Right.
I don't. This just happened.
Right.
And a serious investigation has not even underwent yet.
Right.
I mean, but because we're dealing with children, elementary children,
right.
They don't hesitate with that.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think he should have been fired immediately. I'm not even sure if I think he should have been fired at all. Right now, I don't know what's in your pockets.
This is true.
And you don't, when you send your children to school, you don't know what's in their teachers' pockets. We don't know. I think he needs to definitely be held responsible to some level, because that absolutely just cannot happen, especially with our elementary students. There, so many of them are scared out of their minds now just to go to school. And if I'm not mistaken, this has been Columbine month.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So that made even more concerning.
Yes. Speaking of weaponry and all of that, so I do know, not my particular school, I do know some schools that had metal detectors, and I think some more are starting to have them now. What do you feel about metal detectors in the school?
What do I feel about metal detectors in schools? First, what do I feel about police officers in the schools? Having my own children, be in Atlanta school system and go on to graduate. They've been in private school, they've been in public school, and I've been on the inside out. I wasn't, a parent on the outside looking in on their children's education. I was right on inside there as well, and so I have a real firsthand experience, and I can see why we need more control in the schools. Honestly, I just don't think it should come from law enforcement.
Okay. Now
that we have law enforcement in schools, and I've seen, with my own eyes, these kids aren't treated like students when something quote unquote goes down. They are treated like, adults on the streets. They're treated like criminals. And even afterwards, even after it's handled, even if it's going through a tribunal process, I mean, when these students go through a tribunal process, the tribunal process protects the public school system. It does not protect your child.
That's correct.
Your child does not have an attorney there. And even if you're allowed to be there, you have a panel of people who sit there to judge your child. How do I know? Because my son was in that situation where he was being bullied. Okay. And a few times, we had to, actually a couple times, we had to go down to a tribunal.
Okay.
And that's not something we wanted to do, but we had to be a part of that system because that student, abused my son, and we need to be there as witnesses.
Sure.
Very uncomfortable. And again, I think having police officers in the school can be a bit overrated. We do need more control in our schools. And your other question was
the metal detectors.
The metal detectors. That was the question. Same thing for me. That was until
Well, I'll tell you this.
If you get more metal detectors, you may find now have more students trying to sneak more weaponry in.
Do you think so?
And I would hope not. I would hope not. But it's almost like telling your child, don't go into the cookie jar. And when you turn your head, they start going in the cookie jar.
Thinking about the cookie jar.
We're not thinking about the cookie jar.
So, okay. So I didn't really think too much about metal detectors until recently. A school in our area, not too far, from us, a kid, I don't remember how they discovered it in his backpack, but they had a full gun. I don't think it was loaded. I can't remember if it was loaded or not, but he had a full gun. No, I think it was loaded. But it wasn't, he wasn't there to avenge, revenge on anybody. He wasn't there. I don't know if it was, he was a lock-key kid, came home by himself and it was just protection or whatever. First of all, he's too young to have it, but nonetheless, but what if he was there to
I understand. I mean, I do understand. Here's my position.
Okay.
I wish we lived in a world where we didn't need police officers and metal detectors in our schools.
Right.
I wish we lived in that world, and but we don't.
Right.
So do we need them? Yes. I can see why we need officers in the schools. I can see why we need metal detectors in the school. I just wish we did not need them.
Sure. I don't know necessarily if we need police officers. I think metal detectors are okay. I know when I was at Selma, they had Spelman on lockdown. I mean, you couldn't even get through that doggone gate if you were a guy.
Well, and I know you're talking about the colleges, but we're talking about young people who aren't adults yet.
Yeah.
And you have officers in middle schools, you have officers in high schools, and I'm not sure if they're in elementary schools. You'd be surprised, and that's why I say I can see why. And the reason I say that is because the teachers are left a lot of times to fend for themselves.
I agree.
And if they do fend for themselves, they're fired or to face prison.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. That's definitely a more in-depth conversation that I want to have in the future, in that regard. But our 7:30 Crazy was brought to you by Vom Voss in Duluth. And they have some amazing events coming up Friday, April 26th, 27th, and 28th. And I want to see you all there. So we're going to come back. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about dating. And we're going to be over the hump. It's about to be over, y'all. You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. We'll be right back. Yeah. Hey, Scott. Yes. Yeah, I did. I listened to the whole thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The way he broke it down made you be like, You know what?
He's just sitting amongst adults, listening to what they're saying, and now he can communicate that. That's how she would be able to
Be just exactly. That's right.
This is the parent that I'm speaking of when we talk about Syndy.
Yeah.
Same way.
You want to answer that, don't you?
No, I brought it up to my dad.
I bet it's just
Right.
Well, when we grew up, we got shut down. Sorry.
Or what if you didn't have? What if you didn't even have anything to say? You just wanted to listen. Oh, don't be around folks when they're talking.
Oh, I heard everything. Unless you get like me, they call me possum because they either think I was asleep
Way over there.
or she knows I am listening. My ears are like I be like this, act like I'm not listening. That's right.
You can also go to power1089.com to get all of the updated news and happenings here at Power.
Hey, Sunny. All right. I'm ready. Got it. Okay, yeah, that's what had happened. Okay. I'm 58. Okay, all right. So basically this and one more break. One more break, short break, got it. I want to come back. Welcome back. You're listening to the Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. We got into a little kind of deep discussion. I got to give a shout out to my mother-in-law. Let me tell you something. I got the best in-laws in the world, from my mother-in-law, from my father-in-law, to my brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws. I'm truly, truly blessed because I know a lot of people don't have that experience and they are all watching. So I want to give a shout out. Where the camera there? I want to give a shout out to the best in-laws in the world. Okay, today's show is brought to you by Von Foss in Duluth. All right, so I want you all to make sure you follow them. You can go to my Instagram, my social media, and even if you're, tuning in right now, you'll see that the show is brought to you by them. On Friday, April 26th, I want you to join me at 4:00 p.m. for the ribbon cutting. This store is absolutely amazing. They have the most amazing wines, spices, vinegars, oils, all of that for all of my healthy eaters out there, those who want to begin eating healthier, those who like more of those natural ingredients. And then also when you're there, you get to taste it as well. And they're just so welcoming. They'll put things together. I think I said last time they put vanilla ice cream, pumpkin seed oil, and sea salt together. Something I would have never done on my own, but it was amazing. And then also Saturday, the 27th from 10 to 8, you can meet Viola, who is the founder of Viola's Spice and Gourmet Foods. So Von Foss includes all of her,
wonderful.
Let's
get out ATL and come out and support.
That's right. And then Sunday is from 12:30 to 5. Is the brunch and bubbles and everything unicorn. If you wear your favorite unicorn colors, you get to enter into a chance to win a free gift bag from them as well. You coming with me?
All right, good free bag. Now, so that it's next Friday. And
what's going on?
That is the week I told you I would be traveling.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, we have a product in Home Depot, everyone, that we market and distribute.
They be doing big things.
And so, but I'm trying to get out of that. We're going to see how that goes.
Hey, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you know, and they'll be there. But I hope that you guys listening will join me there. Just follow my Instagram. You'll see where they are in in Duluth and on Main Street. And I'll be there. I'll be tasting up everything.
But you know, if I'm here, I'm there.
You know,
and if I'm not there that day, I will be there the following week.
And you and Greg are gonna, y'all gonna love that.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So I want to kind of switch gears a little bit, and we'll get back to relationships and dating in a second. But there is this trending hot topic right now with Robert Kraft. Okay, y'all know I don't follow. I really don't follow sports too much, but I will follow what's going on with the relationships and women and men and all that kind of stuff. So he is the CEO of the New England Patriots that is facing misdemeanor solicitation of prostitution charges in South Florida. And what do you think is going to happen to this?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of heat in the air surrounding this similar situation.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of stuff going on with men, wealthy men, entertainment, in politics.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff going on. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Okay, so
I know he has the money to buy him.
You took the words right out of my
right out of this situation.
With him being so wealthy.
Yes.
This is my opinion. I don't have no facts. You know how I am about the facts. But I don't have any facts, but I do feel like he'll just have to pay a fine that he can completely afford. He's not going to step down as CEO. I don't believe any of that.
No.
Just because wasn't there a scenario recently, not recently, but within the last few years of another CEO, I think of the basketball team. Y'all know I don't follow all of that. Okay. But, and he was dating a girl and she recorded him talking racist talks and stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying. There's been more incidences since that incident.
Yes.
Okay. There, like I said, there's a lot going on. He's not a player. He is the owner, you know, so he's not going anywhere, you know, really fast. And, you know, the Patriots, they have a good name. You know, their brand is extremely strong.
Right.
I think if he needed to step down to save that brand, he would. But I don't think something, you know, like this. And I need to dig more into the story. So I'm not surface talking.
Originally, they were trying to associate it with human trafficking, but that came out later that
wasn't the case.
Either it wasn't the case with that particular establishment, but it definitely wasn't associated with what he was doing. Now, what he was doing, you know, getting what they called them happy endings at the massage parlors. So that is considered, you know, illegal because it's money traded for sexual stuff.
Okay. And see, okay. That's on his own personal time.
But if it was illegal, right. Okay.
It is illegal, but he's not a player. So I don't know if he has to abide by those same,
right?
You know,
I don't know. Can y'all tell me? Because y'all know I don't.
ATL.
Let me tell you something. Y'all know. Now, RJ, she follows the sports. I
follow the sports, and I know this story, but I have not followed
like
this
the
one
like the,
right
all
here.
the status
updates
right and stuff. So listen. So okay, let me see what we got. They are trying to get the video of them suppressed. Okay, so
but they are saying that the charges, you know, are punishable with up to 1 year in jail or $5,000 fine, 100 hours. So this
he
is
ain't doing no 1 year. Let me tell you something.
Listen,
now, if he was facing
the charge, you can just write this one off.
Okay, if he was facing a lot more charges, I'm like, ooh, I'll be kind of nervous. But if it's 1 year and 500,000, he'd be like, okay, can we get this done already?
Yeah,
so I can move on.
I can definitely see this being checked off. And I think the media probably really ran with that story when it first broke because of who he is.
Yeah. Exactly. So I have a question with this. I don't like to talk too much of those major topics without dedicating a whole time to them. But what do you think as far as, because I feel like with the whole happy ending, it's very familiar with a lot of people. Do you feel like it's going to be forgiven as quickly in comparison to the whole Me Too movement?
Oh, I think we're okay. that Me Too movement in itself has just taken on a whole nother, animal.
Yeah. And we're definitely we'll have to dedicate some time.
I'm not sure
to
that is the same
day,
thing. I don't think that is the same thing. We have we have a male. He's an establishment. I don't know. Were these children underage? I mean, I don't know.
I don't think
children
so.
are underage, but
I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we're talking about two different things. We have, an adult male, regardless of what he does for a living or who he is. He goes into an establishment like many men and women, and he gets a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's what they said he got, if they have proof, but apparently he got this happy ending. And no, I do not think that is the same as Me Too.
Okay, I agree. But more what I was thinking was with it
he's
being
probably
in the limelight.
Thinking not Me Too.
I know that's right.
That's what he's thinking. Not
me. Okay, it ain't me. Lydia says he gonna get off.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, caller.
Yes. So. Speaking of Robert, so I know he was married previously, and I think he might be. I don't think he's married now, but I think in a relationship, or maybe he's married now anyway. But it kind of brings me to my next, topic in terms of dealing with temptations in your really, really committed relationships. Mm-hmm. So not everybody wants to be married, so I don't want to exclude them like they don't matter. But so if you're in a very exclusive relationship or you're married, how what can we give to our listeners in terms of how to handle temptations when they arise? I've got my opinions, but I want to hear from you first.
What type of temptations?
Any temptations, whether it's financial temptations, whether you're a gambler, whether it's another, someone of, outside of your relationship you're attracted to, or, any temptation.
I think because there's so many different types of temptations.
Sure.
Like you said, whether it's financially, personally, spiritually, sexually, we have all these temptations. But, when you go into a relationship, you're different in that relationship than you were as a single person.
Correct.
And you don't know who you are, what you have, until you are in that relationship, sharing experiences, emotions, all that with that person. I think a lot about. I think I think a lot about it. I think we have more. I'm always careful with what I say and how I say. Repeat that question one more time.
So what can we offer to our listeners in terms of how to handle? I'm gonna add one. How to handle temptations when they arise, whatever those temptations are. Just something that is dishonest or misleading or whatever in your relationship, or how what can you do to foresee them coming before they actually present itself?
Those temptations. And now I remember the point that I was making. I think the biggest temptation for us all is ourselves. Mm-hmm. Breaking those same old habits, bringing those same habits into our relationship. Like you say, let's say you're a gambler and you know that going into this relationship with this person, you've told them that you're not going to do this gambling. Okay. You've made that commitment, whether it's gambling, whether it's cheating, whatever problems you've had that you've tried to overcome, going into this relationship that it's not going to be beneficial if you bring that into that relationship. So that's why I say one of the biggest things for people to overcome in terms of temptation is themselves.
Yeah.
Get yourself in check. Your temptation can be food. So many women, the temptation is food. They go into a relationship and, you might be, the size you love. But then that temptation, and you know how he liked you, you know how he married you, you know how you was when he got with you, you know how you like to be, but that changed because the temptation of food. And I say, look yourself in the mirror. I don't care what temptation that is. You have to stop. First, you have to stop and you have to pray and you have to ask for guidance and you have to ask for that support because sometimes we can't do it alone. And you have to seek the coaching and the counsel that you're going to need to stop because everybody don't have that in them to say, I'm just going to stop.
That's exactly what I was getting at. And I know that in my conversations with people, they either don't have it in them or they've just tried so many times that they failed because they don't have the thing that right for them or whatever the case may be. I'm not a nutritionist, but or they allow, whether it's the excuse of kids, that they've had, or they say, well, he's supposed to love me
Anyway.
And
he does.
And he does love you.
He does. All of you.
But he might want to see what you look like beforehand.
And even with the what we're talking about with the overeating and things like, listen, it's all about you first, sisters. It's about you first, how you feel in your skin. And I know a lot of sisters who are, pretty hefty and they love the way they feel in their skin. And then and they do. And then sometimes I might beg to differ because when I sit and counsel them and talk to them, the real stuff come out and they would like to be smaller, especially for their health.
And you make a great point, because I think that if you do put on weight in your relationship, but your confidence is still there, he's gonna still be attracted.
It's about the attitude with men.
Exactly. So I think that if it's you want him to love you, but you don't love yourself.
Right and now. He's going to see that.
And he's going to see that, and it's going to subconsciously affect not how he loves you, but
how you let him love you.
Yes, and all of that.
All of that.
Listen, I'm gonna have to maybe spend more time with y'all in the future. I'm gonna think about it, okay? But because we are wrapping it up.
Yeah,
we are at that 8:00 hour. But if you're in Johns Creek, you can come see me at Bliss Bar and Lounge tonight at 8. It's 8:00, and I'll be there right after here. But we are going to wrap this up in a little bit. But we're going to take a little break. You're listening to the Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. We'll be right back.
Your favorite? Who's this artist?
Oh, okay. Hey Lydia. Hey Alicia. Hey Stacy. Thank you, Stephanie. Hey Sadarian. Hey Chanel. Aaron. Hey. Hey friend. Hey son. Hey Angie. Hey Cindy. Same name. Oops. Welcome back. You're listening to The Unbroken Experience with Syndy B on Power 108.9. We have come to the end of this show. Y'all don't understand. From week to week, I can't wait to get here. What about you, RJ?
Yes, and it goes by so fast.
So fast. I remember that week that I was on spring break. I enjoyed my break, but I sure missed y'all. So listen, I want you all to follow me on @The Unbroken Experience on Instagram and @The Syndy B. That's SYNDY. The N comes before the D. Okay, @The Syndy B. And of course, on there, you'll find all the other information that you need. And on Facebook, it's pretty much the same thing, LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff. RJ, tell them where to find you.
Well, you guys can find me on Facebook, okay, at RJ Powell. Atlanta. Yes, and my IG is I am RJ Powell.
That's right. Hey Tina.
Hey Tina.
Okay, so I want to leave you all with my tip for the week. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about dating, a little bit about marriages, but about dating. And my takeaway tip for you, please listen to me. Listen, Linda. Okay,
Not in Colorado.
Listen, not in Colorado. That's an inside joke, y'all. Yeah, that's an inside joke. Okay. My takeaway to you, whether you're married, dating, or exclusively dating, keep your hobbies and your other social activities. Don't give it up and forget about the good friends that feed into you and help you remember your womanhood and who you are and things like that, and the things that give you the strength and the energy and the motivation and the spiritual growth to be able to feed into your relationships without losing yourself. Okay, so that's my tip of the week, my takeaway. And I am so happy to have been with you all today. Today's show was brought to you by Vom Foss in Duluth. And like I said, April 26th, 27th, 28th, that's where you will find me. All right. Come taste all of those spices, all those oils, all those vinegars. Get you a bottle of wine. Really, the words cannot explain to you this particular
experience.
Yeah, you can't. You have to come. When I tell you, you have to come, whether you're in the Gwinnett area or right outside of it. But I would, because I think it's the only one in Atlanta.
Ask, yes, for the listeners. So that this is the only location, everyone.
In Atlanta. So I think they're on the West Coast a little bit, but the majority of them there's 24 stores in Germany. But they're here now, and we should be thankful because I know a lot of us are trying to eat a lot more healthy and all of those things. It's on Main Street. If you go to, it's on Main Street in downtown Duluth. So downtown Duluth is Main Street. So if you just remember downtown Duluth on Main Street, you can go to my Instagram and find them. Vom Foss Duluth, VOMFAAS Duluth.
All right.
All right, y'all. So I love y'all.
We love you guys. All right, ATL.
That's right. So make sure you tune in every Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. only on Power 108.9. We love y'all, and we'll see you next week. All right, y'all. Again, I'm surprised I'm not sweating. Luckily, the fan is blowing on me today. It feels good today. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. All right, next time I need y'all to send me some relationship questions so we can talk about it next week. Okay. Y'all have a good day.